Never expect good things from finding a Harley Davidson that hasn't ran in a chicken coop and bringing it inside the garage thinking that just by cleaning it, it's gonna run mint. Well, for me, that was the exact case of my 2000 Harley Davidson 883 Sportster that I found in a chicken coop for a really good price. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, homies. My name is Rob Anz, and on this episode we're talking about my 2000 Harley Davidson Sportster 883, my first motorcycle ever that I found in a chicken coop for a really good price, that ran when I first bought it and then had complete issues for the last 2 weeks that I've probably seen so many gray hairs growing out of my hair, and I was losing sleep, and I had to call so many friends, SOS, to help me fix this thing. And so much I learned that this video is all about how to fix problems, diagnose some issues, and help you get your Harley Davidson or any toy that you find in a chicken coop, maybe some advice and tips and tricks on how to get it up and running again, because that's what I had to figure out, and I documented the whole process because I knew that this video would help a lot of you. So let's jump into it. I bought a motorcycle in a chicken coop that the owner told me hasn't run in a year. I brought it home and I did a deep clean wash. And usually with my other toys like my dirt bikes, after any wash or any deep clean wash, you hose it down and you either air dry it or you do a deep dry cleaning process. And I didn't do that to this thing, so I think that's the first process. If anyone learning anything from buying something from a garage or someone else's, do a deep clean, sure, figure out what's leaking, what the problems are, see if there's any oil going around in it, and then just make sure it's fully dry and lubricated, because sometimes the water systems in whatever country you might be in might corrode some of the parts, and that happened a lot with this Harley Davidson. After doing that deep clean, a lot of symptoms started happening. And I think it's due to the fact that the bike was sitting for a year, and when you want to run it and you want to ride it and you want to figure it out, things start to happen because of neglect or because of my stupidity. But a lot of the symptoms and a lot of these Harley things have come into place with common issues that Harley riders experience. Runs for a few minutes, then it completely dies. Cranks strong, but it won't start. No spark at the plugs. Random spark when loosening off parts like the gas tank bolts. And it feels like electrical ground issue. Or the fuel system itself is starving itself. So we're gonna run through a few things and every part that I also purchased. But a lot of the things, when you get to the end of the video, they'll clue into making sure that you take the time to go through the bike for free before purchasing everything you think it needs when it doesn't. So with all combustion chamber systems in any toy, you need spark, gas, and air. Gas, air, spark plugs. So you want to make sure all of those components are working properly to start. And what happened was I started to dig deeper into the failures that were happening. So at the initial start of the bike running pretty good, it would bog out almost like it was starving of fuel. So the first thing I did, and this is a recommendation for anyone finding something in a barn or left behind for a year, is drain the whole gas tank. Drain all the old fluids. If there's any rust, fill it with some vinegar. Marbles is if it's really bad, swish it around for 24 hours or 40 hours, drain it, clean it out with hot power washing water, and then fill it with gasoline right away. Throughout that process, you should probably change the gas lines as well too. Most of my gas lines look all original. I changed the fuel filter as well too, and made sure that when the fuel was going through the system, that it was draining through. At that point, I also noticed that the petcock, the bottom piece that turns where the gas fuels through, was actually clogged. So when I was draining the vinegar, I wanted to see how fast the vinegar would come through, and it actually wasn't. So then I had to dig a little deeper. I had to remove the petcock, remove it, and find impurities and gross, I don't know, trees and debris just suffocating the fuel from going through the filter. So I changed that as well too, and now I have a full running, full system. I know gas is getting to the motor, fuel, check, 1. After my fuel was figured out, I jumped into the carburetor. And that's something that either takes a lot of patience for someone or you give it to an expert to figure out. Now, a lot of people suggested that the Harleys are very simple to take apart, especially if it's stock, and this breather was stock, to remove, clean it out, clean anything inside the bowl, the gas tank bowl or fuel bowl, see if there's any grossness or anything like that inside of it, and put it back together and stick it back on. So I took the time to do it. The bowl itself wasn't that gross. The carburetor itself wasn't disgusting, but I did notice that the bolts holding it to the mount were actually loose. So figuring that out, it's good to know that your gas flows through clean, the carburetor is getting it, the carburetor isn't leaking, or you change the gaskets, and then you have a clean carburetor that needs to be set. I also learned from using the manual that the fuel and air screw ratio had to be turned 1.5 turns by stock. Now this is cold weather currently in Canada, but in the warmer season I'm probably gonna have to adjust that ratio to the warmer months, the warmer riding season once the bike warms up. But as of right now, gas tank's flushed, new lines are on, carburetor is clean. Let's move to electrical. Now, most common issues with Harleys, bikes in general, is that people forget to trickle charge their battery on a full charge, or that the battery cells die out. So I tested it a few times, cranking it over, and sure enough, the light was showing me signs of the battery is dead. The bike won't crank at a full charge. I think it's 12 amps. And again, don't quote me on anything too much, because I am learning as I go, and I'm teaching you what I know from my experience of learning. But in that experience, I instantly changed the battery, and from what I learned from forums is you buy the brand new battery, you trickle charge it overnight so it gets a full charge from sitting on a shelf, and you put it in the bike to see if it runs. Now, that did help. That did make it run for a solid 4 to 5 minutes, and then it would die down. It would completely shut off. So at that time, I knew there was major issues. There was something else that was happening on this bike, and at that time I started to disconnect and take everything off the bike. And that's something you still do not want to do until the very end. A lot of the issues come from disassembling a bike and not knowing where things go. So it's good to have a manual with you at all times. And I have a factory Sportster manual for this bike that shows me all the diagrams. But at that time, as I was disassembling it, I lost complete spark. Nothing was happening. No spark to the spark plug. Nothing was getting voltage. The battery was new. The next thing I would have to do was switch out the spark plugs and the wires. That's the next thing I did. So as of right now, gas tank's clean. Carburetor cleaned out. Brand new battery, brand new spark plugs, brand new wires. Starting it up. Sure, it runs again. Great, fantastic. Put it back together. For some reason, it stopped running. And at this time, I got super frustrated, so I gave up on getting the bike started, which was funny, and started to change all the parts, like the handlebars, the grips, taking all the old stuff off, and just cleaning it up, because at that point I was super frustrated and needed a break. So I wanted to change the bike to give me motivation, because I'm trying to build this into something cool, and then restart the starting process all over again. So now I'm reaching out to all of my friends. What could I possibly do to get this bike starting again? And everyone, even the forums, even the Facebook, even all the brothers and all the older crew were saying the ignition coil. This Harley, the Sportster in particular, has issues with the ignition coil. For some reason the wires don't clip on tight enough, so I tried that. I tried to clean all the wires, all the ignition wires. I cleaned with sandpaper, tightened the grip of the metal on metal contact, plug them in. The wires, the ignition wires to the plug, spark plug wires, I cleaned those out. Made sure there was electric grease in everything. Make sure the contact points were all good. Started over, and again, it would start and die after 4 minutes. So I tested everything out. After that, I got so frustrated again, I bought an aftermarket coil pack. And that's what you see here today. It is amazing. The fitment compared to a factory, it is phenomenal. So after figuring out that, again, it ran for 4 minutes and then it would just peter out. And that's when my buddy came over. He's like, I had enough, I'm coming over. I'm coming to help you before you put this thing in a deep fire and send it to the bottom of the ocean. Because that was the point of no return for me. I had so many frustrating points that I wanted to give up on it. Now the last point is figuring out what is wrong with it. And I remember my buddy was sitting here, we took off the point system to see if the light, there's a ignition light in here that's supposed to be blinking when it runs. We're doing that, we're switching the wires over the ignition, we're switching a few things, we're turning the kill switch on and off, we're turning this on and off, we're checking to see if anything of that is wrong. The position sensor for the tip sensor was on tight. That's another thing to keep in mind for the Sportster, the tip sensor. The red light kept going on, and then it kept going off, and then it kept going on. So we knew that there was a ground issue. We knew that there was something. And he looks at me going, what did you take off and what did you put back on? And I was like, well, I took off the handlebars, I took off the grips, I took off the brake lever, I took off the front light, a few things. He's like, okay, well, you know what? While he's sitting here, he's like, take a picture of the red light and the problems you've had and put it to ChatGPT. And this is funny because thanks ChatGPT. And ChatGPT said, if it's not your ignition, if it's not your spark plugs that are new, it's not the wires, make sure the battery's plugged in, has a full charge, check your kill switch terminal. Check your kill switch button to make sure, because you need a switch here with the key, you need this turned on to run, and then you need the push, the button to start the bike. And I remember him sitting here, Liam, and he's like, probably don't have to clean that. But if I go back to the very start, I washed the bike. Electricals, I know, have issues with water sometimes, condensation, points that you need to dry out. And sure enough, ChatGPT was saying, go to ignition, go to your kill switch, remove everything, disassemble it, grease everything up, clean it back up, spray it with WD, put all the contacts back, plug it in, and turn it on the on position. Do you not think I should have started with that? Do you think ChatGPT or my manual said start with the simple thing? Start with the kill switch. No. But guess what? It fixed everything. The no spark Harley Davidson fix list from me to all of you. 1, make sure you have a full battery. Just buy a brand new one or trickle charge it. Make sure you get those bolts in. If that's not the case, start by cleaning out your kill switch. It's just a couple screws, take it apart, clean it up, use some compressed air, clean that, dielectric grease, put it back together, try that. Next, your spark plugs and your wires. Fix those, they don't cost that much. Last but not least, check your ignition. Make sure it's working, it gets the voltage, make sure all the plugs are plugging in properly, that sit tight that you hear a little cap in. And then after that, You can buy all the fun things you want for your bike and your toy, because it should fix the problem. If it's not, I haven't fixed or replaced this, and I won't need to anymore because I fixed everything on this. But I know there's more problems coming up. That's my list. That is the Harley list for the Sportster for me in the last couple weeks of trying to fix this bike and making it run, and it runs so damn good now. Let's close everything up here to conclude it. If you find any good project toy in a chicken coop that's been neglected for a year, you're gonna have to do some maintenance. You're gonna have to be patient with yourself and the toy that you bought, because most likely it will need cleaning up and fixing and lubricating and tightening, all of it, to run back to its original form. So yes, the issue was frustrating, but it was so simple in the end. Most people overlook, including myself, these fixes, these little things, these spark plugs, these issues, by cleaning them out, compressed air, or doing something. But forums really help, and friends having a second look really helped motivate me to fix my bike. But hopefully this helps someone out there that owns a Harley or that is looking to buy a toy, because from my experience, it is so fun doing it until you hit that wall of frustration of, I just want to burn it and chuck it in the lake and never see it ever again. But just know there is so much glory at the end of it when you get it running and it's running right and you can ride it, because that is so much pride at the end of the day, to getting something that needed so much love that you know it's going to run mint, and sure enough it does. So leave a comment if you have any questions or if you have any more suggestions for me. But I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'll see, well, no. You know what? Leave a like. Drop a sick comment if you thought this was super helpful. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and love from your homie Rob. Peace.